Hey, it's Tuesday, January 5th, and you're watching The Great Lost Rewatch. Today we're watching the Season 4 episode, Eggtown. This is a Kate-centric episode, and it actually starts opening up on Locke making breakfast. He carries it down a flight of stairs into the barracks room where his dad was held, where they are now holding Ben. Locke gives Ben breakfast and a book. He gives him Valis by Philip K. Dick. Valis stands for Vast Active Living Intelligence System, which is about, I guess, Philip K. Dick's thoughts on God and a higher being and that sort of stuff, which plays into Lost because there's a lot of symbolism with religion and God and higher beings and purgatory. On Claire's front porch, Kate and Claire are enjoying a nice warm cup of coffee on their nice morning on a porch in a suburb on an island, and Sawyer comes over and invites Kate to live with him, and Kate says no because she doesn't trust him, and he brings up the fact that she thinks she might be pregnant and it's freaking her out, and she just kind of blows him off. Jack comes back onto the beach with Dan and Charlotte. Hurley wants to watch Xanadu. Kate comes over and wants to talk to Sawyer, and he's like, if you're gonna use me, just ask. Just, say I want to use you. And she says, I want to use you. And she says she wants to use Sawyer to break Ben out. So Sawyer goes over to Locke's house and they play backgammon, and he says, I need to tell you something about Kate, but you can't hurt her. So he says, what? And he says, she went and she talked to Miles, and now she wants to bring Miles to Ben to talk to him, or something like that. And so Locke and Sawyer go running down to the boathouse, and who's not there anymore? Miles. Kate has already gotten him and brought him to Locke's house, Ben's house. And they go down and they go into the room, and Miles asks Ben for $3.2 million to say that he is dead, to tell his employer that Ben is dead. And then Locke finds them. Later that night, Kate is listening to some Patsy Cline, and Locke comes over and says, I want you out. I want you gone from here by morning. I want you to go back to the beach. Back on the beach, Dan is trying to recall what 3 cards are laying face down in front of him, and he remembers 2 of them but can't remember the third, which is like, you can't remember what 3 cards are, so there's something obviously up with Dan, but we're not quite sure what it is at this point. Regina says, I thought the helicopter was with you guys. It's not here. So what's up with that, man? So that's the end of what happens on the island. Flash forward to Kate is on trial. In the courtroom, Kate's attorney says, forgive me, and he calls Jack to the stand. And Jack is telling this elaborate story about how they crashed, and he was injured badly, and Kate nursed there were 8 survivors of the plane crash. And we know there's the Oceanic 6, but who are the other 2 people that are supposedly survived the plane crash? So they cross-examine Jack, and they ask, are you in love with the defendant? And he says, I was, but I'm not anymore. Ouch. So then they have no case against Kate anymore, since their star witness was her mom, and she won't testify now. So they say, we'll let you off with 10 years probation. You cannot leave the state of California. And she says, I've got a son. I'm not going anywhere. I'll take it. She's leaving. She runs into Jack. He says, I didn't mean what I said in there about not loving you, is the implication. And she says, do you want to follow me home for dinner? She's inviting him over, and he says, well, I think I have to get to the hospital. He's backing up. He says, but can I meet you for coffee sometime? And Kate says, I know why you don't want to meet the baby, but unless you want to meet the baby, there's no you and me outside of that. And so she leaves. She pulls up to a fancy little suburban house, and the housekeeper, nanny person welcomes her back and says, I just put him down for a nap. She goes upstairs. She holds a little blonde boy who looks about 2 years old in her arms, and she says, I missed you, Aaron. Aaron. Kate's baby is Aaron. Just a few little things. The second day on the island, after the morning when Kate kind of kicks Sawyer to the curb and goes back to the beach, and when Locke puts the grenade in Miles' mouth, is Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas, Miles! Sawyer's reading The Invention of Morale, which is about two fugitives. The title in French translates into enemy mothers. What that means, I don't know. Leslie, you're back with The Constant tomorrow. I'm very excited about this, and I will talk to you later. Bye.
We're gonna need to watch that again.